In this module, you will learn three key methods in historical research. First, how to search the archive. Second, how to reference archival materials accurately in academic work. And third, how to engage with archival sources critically and spatially, understanding their context, limitations, and representational logic. And here is a step-by-step guide of conducting archival research. First, define your topic. Start by clarifying what you want to investigate. Second step is search and explore the archive. Once you have your focus, it's time to explore archival collections. And step 3 is apply the materials to your research. Finding a source is only the beginning. It is important to engage critically with what you find. Ask some of these questions like, who produced this material? For what purpose? What is emphasized or left out? So now you have learned some of the basics of navigating around websites. Once you have collected some of these images that you're interested to look more into, we may look into how to engage with historical resources critically. So I have listed three key points of views and methods to look into examining archives. So these are neighboring, layering, and triangulation. So first I will explain neighboring, which literally means the neighbors of the materials source you have found. Neighboring is a method of reading archival materials in context by paying attention not only to primary documents you're studying, but also the material surrounds it, whether spatially, thematically, or temporally. So it is really about asking what else was recorded alongside this. What was happening nearby in the same collection and the same map or the same period. This is helpful in looking in digital archives, but also it may become more relevant when you explore physical archives. So once you've selected some of the materials you're interested in, you may book in an appointment in a physical archive, for example, at the university library or some of the Hong Kong-based archives. And then once you're in the archive, you may be able to look into neighboring materials that are adjacent to where physically the source you have found is situated. This can help you discover better context of the source you have found. So why is this useful? In a way, archives are not usually neutral. They're not neutral. They're curated, structured, and often fragmented. By exploring neighboring materials, you can discover patterns and relationship not obvious in a single item. And also it helps you reconstruct a fuller historical picture from fragmented reports. So it's always helpful to ask questions about the materials nearby and perhaps sometimes the whole collection, examining the whole collection that the material is situated in. So the second way is layering. This is quite helpful in maps as urban research and design students. So layering means overlaying. It can mean overlaying historical and modern maps. Um, for example, here we have a map of Guangdong made in 1866. It's a hand drawn map made in Qing Dynasty, representing a schematic perception of Guangdong province. There are key trade routes, key cities, islands, and administrative centers within the Pearl River Delta. This is not an accurate map that are made with modern cartography skills. It conveys more of a mental and relational geography of how places are imagined and administratively ordered. The distances are not to scales and the coastlines are generalized, and the natural features like rivers and mountains are depicted for narrative or symbolic emphasis rather than precision. By doing this, you may think about so by doing this, when you layer this map with modern maps that are accurately mapped, such as satellite images, GIS data, or official planning document, it's not when you layer them, it's not only about spotting the differences, but also um, about reading across time of um, it opens up sort of a critical, in a way it can open up a critical dialogue between how people once conceive the space symbolically, relationally, through routes and nodes of connecting points and water passages. So this contrast can reveal how geography itself is a socially constructed idea shaped by worldviews, power structure, and also technical capabilities. This type of historical and modern layerings doesn't just show change over time. It also helps reconsider how space and territories were historically constructed and governed, especially in places like the Pearl River Delta, which the development of of the Pearl River Delta itself relies on historical trading routes, informal settlements, and administrative priorities that have deeply shaped the landscape that we see today. And lastly is triangulation, cross-referencing different sources. So it's the same map that we are looking at. Um, in this map, with this map, you can also search for oral. You can use oral histories, policy documents, and modern and satellite images to help you construct a better image. To help you construct a better image and more critical engagement with the source. In this way, by comparing different type of materials which are produced by different um, by different people. For example, oral history may be produced by locals and planning document produced by government. You can also use this to compare and analyze to see the relationship between urban rural interactions within the area. So lastly, how to reference these archival sources. It's very important to reference archival sources properly. So here I have listed how to reference archival sources in APA style. It's important to note that always include the institution name of where the source is come from. And also in these square brackets, after the title of item, you may also include that it's also good to include the type of material that you're using. For example, photograph, maps, or government document. And that is all.